What's good, y'all? My name is Zach Young, and welcome back to Young Money Sports. So I just wanted to sit here and talk about a few things going on with the NBA since the season concluded yesterday with the Boston Celtics winning the NBA championship. That's not going to be the only thing that I'm going to talk about today, but it's going to be the main thing. I just want to point out that I actually got the series right. I said it was going to be over in 5, and sure enough it did. I thought after they went up 3-0 that it could be a sweep, but except for the Pacers, I think everyone in these playoffs has had one game where they have shot outstanding from the field and the Celtics decided just to take a day off. I think everyone knew that after the Celtics lost game 4, that was just a scripted loss, man. They just wanted to win at home. There was no real chance of the Mavericks coming back and winning, and I don't think that's really ever going to happen in a series. It's just funny when people and you see after a team wins game 4 after being down 3-0, all these sports media people and all these people on Twitter and everything will post that picture of LeBron with the team as being down 3-1 thing, the one, and act like they can come back and win when you really know that's not going to happen. Boston was just the better team, not just for this series, but just for the entire playoffs, man. It was crazy just how much better they were than anyone that was put in front of them, regardless of what injuries they had or anything. I know, it's a meme, it's a joke to say and some people actually use this as a legit defense, being well, they were getting injured, or the team they were playing had their best guy injured, Jimmy Butler, Donovan Mitchell, Tyrese Halliburton. All these guys were injured. They were playing an injured Luka too in the finals. But it's I guarantee you, even if they were playing those teams healthy, they still would have wiped the floor with them. There was no competition. Like I said, they were just head and shoulders above everyone else, and a lot of that has to come down to not just the play of the people on the court, but just the moves of the front office is really just it's really commendable in my opinion. As y'all probably know at this point, I'm a Miami Heat fan. I don't like Boston, and a lot of this really hurts to say, but I wish that Miami had a front office like the Boston Celtics. Their front office was seeing their team get so close to reaching the mountaintop, but continually failing over and over again. And instead of just sticking their heads in the ground and trying to add small pieces or just stubbornly run it back, they actually sacrificed fan favorite players to get marginal additions. There probably aren't many front offices who would make trades and give away guys like Marcus Smart or Grant Robert Williams or Malcolm Brogdon, people who helped you get really close to the top but couldn't help you get the job done, for players who you would hope would actually help you get over that hill. And I think a lot of credit has to be given to them too for not pulling the plug on Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown just yet. There are a lot of front offices and a lot of teams out there who would have seen the constant failure over and over and over again and thought well, this isn't working, let's just pull the plug on it. But they decided just to stick with it, which at the time I think a lot of people were criticizing them for, and I was one of them, mainly because of how Jaylen Brown, when they signed him to that big extension last year, I think a lot of people were really questioning why they would do that after the way that he played, especially in the conference finals. But at least this year, he did take that step up in those big clutch moments. And you didn't really see a lot of games like you saw in Game 7 last year, the conference finals. He really was locked in the entire time, as crazy as it is to say, thinking about how well we were reacting after that big $300 million extension that they signed into last year. Which, speaking of Brown and Tatum, they wouldn't even be with the Celtics right now if it wasn't for that god-awful trade that they made with Brooklyn back in, I think, 2013. And when I say awful trade, it was an awful trade for Brooklyn. They were trying to really capitalize on this big championship window by trading for past their prime Pierce, Garnett, and Jason Terry. And they sent, I believe it was a first-round pick in 2014, 2016, and 2018, or they could swap. I think they swapped in 2018, so they got the 2017 pick, which became Jason Tatum. So yeah, a lot of thanks has to be given, for winning Banner 18. A lot of thanks has to be given to Billy King, at the time GM of the Brooklyn Nets, for making just, at this point, I could probably say it is up there, if not, it is easily one of the worst, if not the worst NBA trades of all time. Now, when talking about Dallas, it's crazy because, it seemed like in that series against Minnesota and everything leading up to this, everything was going right for them. Like the defense, like I said, the defense is great. Role players are stepping up, and Luka and Kyrie were cooking. And it's like in this series, like it was just the complete opposite. Like nothing was going right for these guys, man. Like even in games where Luka and Kyrie were both cooking, like the role players were almost doing like nothing. And I think you could chalk some of that up to like experience in a big stage like this, but I mean they were playing pretty well like going through the playoffs, like especially like a guy like PJ Washington, like he had never even been to the playoffs before, and you wouldn't even think that with how well he was playing, and he was just like a non-existent, he was not even a factor in this series. Like I honestly don't even think it would have mattered if the role players like did their jobs and played well, even played like above their level, because just Luka and Kyrie for the most part were just like not playing up to their standards in this series, especially Kyrie Irving. Let's see, like 20. He scored like 20 points on like 41% shooting, and played all like his worst games all came in TD Garden. And I think what really screwed up Luka in this series, like it wasn't his offense, because I think like overall on the offensive end he was handling his own. He averaged like about 29 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. He even had a triple double in game 2. I think what really hurt him was just like the fouling, and just the fact that you could have basically have played 5-on-4, like when the Mavs were on defense. Like Luka was that bad on defense. I saw like there were plenty of clips you can see where he was almost like a damn turnstile. Do I think they'll be back in the finals? Probably not at this point. Like I think this was sort of a run where everything had to go right for them to make it, and we saw on the other side what a true championship team is. Like it's not just one or two guys like just iso ball and cooking, and then the role players contributing every now and then. Like you have to be like a full on like just a unit that where everybody's doing their job, everybody's contributing, and it's not just like I said, like two guys just doing all the offense. I think unless the Mavs really like add a solid third piece that can help, I wouldn't say like diversify, but like kind of just spread the scoring out a little bit, so where you don't have to put everything on Luka and Kyrie. Like I think unless they do that, we've really just seen the peak of this duo with Luka and Kyrie. And also just really want to talk about like just the NBA Finals as a whole. It's just, I don't know if this is just me getting older or that I've just paid more attention to it, but it's just like there's no real like, they say like a big fight feel, when talking about like a big match, a big boxing match or whatever. Like there's just no real like intensity or grandeur to the NBA Finals like I feel like there used to be. Like they're just so, I want to say like there's a lot of minimalism that goes into things like the score bug, for example, or the fact that there's no like logos really on the court that show you that it's the NBA Finals. Or if there are any logos, like they're digitally added on the court, and they're always followed up by presented by YouTube TV. Like I swear the YouTube TV advertising was getting pretty egregious, man. Like it was on the court. You saw it like in the corners. You also saw it on the little like the banner that you see on the scorer's table. I'm pretty sure it's also on the thing holding up the basketball goal. You'd see a YouTube TV ad anytime they would cut to commercial from the game. It just got to a point where it was just ridiculous, honestly. Like, it was just crazy that something that used to be just so, like I said, just gigantic and filled with so much grandeur, and you had so much stuff just attached to it. Like, it just got treated like another playoff series. Like, if you were tuning into it with no idea what was going on, you wouldn't think this is like the championship series of the entire NBA season. You would just think there's just a regular NBA game going on there. And I think there are a few things you can do, and I would like to see, and I think a lot of people would like to see, that you can do just to fix the NBA Finals and bring back, I guess, the aura that it once had. Put the Finals logo back on the players' jerseys. Put the Finals logo on the court without a YouTube TV ad underneath it. Honestly, get better commentary and analyst groups for pregame, postgame, and halftime, because what they have right now, besides Mike Breen, is not good, like, at all. Show the pregame introductions for all the players before each game, man. Like that produced some of like my best memories in my time watching the NBA. Like I go back every now and then and just watch a video of the 2013 NBA Finals like lineup introduction, because that moment right there is a time when you're just taking in what everyone else is seeing in that building, and it's something that you just can't replicate. And for the love of God, put the Larry O'Brien Trophy back in the middle of the court. Like, y'all went all out and gave every single team a new court for the in-season tournament, but we can't even get the freaking trophy in the middle of the court for the NBA Finals of all things? I guess that's just Adam Silver's NBA for you. Speaking of Adam Silver's NBA, and this will be the last thing that I talk about here today. So, I was watching my Florida State Seminoles yesterday playing the UNC in the College World Series, and I saw an advertisement for the NBA draft coming up in a couple weeks. And I saw that for some reason, I don't know who's making these decisions, but they're making the NBA draft 2 days. I don't understand why they would do that or who is making these kind of decisions, man. That is so stupid to me. I get that they're trying to sort of be like the NFL. The NFL makes a whole spectacle and event out of their draft. Even the 4th through 7th rounds are a whole event. But I think what they fail to understand is that nobody really cares about the second round of the NBA draft. There is a reason that when it's a one-night thing, the second round normally is going on when everybody who has to work the next day has to go to bed. The talent pool of the NBA compared to the NFL is just so much more slim, and that comes with the sport because, on an NFL team, you have over 100 players on there, and on the NBA team, you have, 15. So most of the time, the real franchise-changing talent or just guys that can regularly contribute to a team's success are all gone by the lottery or maybe pick 20. Past that, you're mainly getting guys who are good in a pinch or spend a lot of time in the G League or hell, maybe even never even suit up for the team in any capacity. It's just a waste of everyone's time and money because that second day when all 10 people are sitting there watching the draft, they're going to be sitting there watching guys who are at their peak going to average 2 points per game coming off the bench in garbage time in 14 games playing in the NBA. And once again, it's just funny how they're wanting to make more of a spectacle out of the NBA draft rather than the NBA Finals. Why, man? This just doesn't make any sense to me. Why would they just turn aside the NBA Finals and put more effort into an in-season tournament and a draft where people are only going to be watching for the first 20 picks if they really care? Some of this shit is just so baffling to me, man. I always just question who is making these decisions. But I guess that'll be the end of this video. If you like what you saw, make sure to like and subscribe. Check out the video I made on the NBA Finals listed up top. But thanks for watching, and I'll catch y'all later.
Wade leans in, forming away, puts it in! Dwayne Wade does it again! And Charlotte has to call timeout.